this is how to get very good at wrestling on a budget. Number one would be to reallocate some of your wrestling dollars. So if you're going to a tournament just 20 minutes away, a family 3, there's $15 to get in the door. The wrestler's $25. There's $40 right there. Plus concession. I mean, you know, you're out 60, 80, 90 bucks. And if you go to dinner or something after the tournament, maybe with the team or just with your family, there's another 130. I mean, you can spend, you know, $350 to $800 a month just on the local tournaments. And you have to go to tournaments, but you might be able to skip one here and there. You take that $100 or $120 and I don't know, maybe put it away, or just sort of in your mind understand that to wrestle the same 3 kids that you wrestled last weekend, I'm not so sure it's doing you very much good. Then, if you wanted to, you can maybe get a home wrestling mat and you start reallocating some of this money that you're spending on these tournaments where you're really not getting anything out of it, and now you get a home wrestling mat. Don't get a 10 by 10, get a 12 by 12. A 10 by 10 is a complete waste of money. You can resell those things, right? I hustled some mats and traded, and anyway, at the end of the time, like 9 years later, I had $4,000 in my pocket, and I had gone through 4 different mats, and I had got to use 2 of them for 9 years for my camps at no cost. The resale value on wrestling mats is tremendous. So if you spend $750 on a brand new 12 by 12, you're gonna be able to sell it for $595 easy. So you always get your money's back with those as long as you take good care of them. So keep that in mind. So you're starting to reallocate some money, and you think about camps. People say, "Oh my God, camps are expensive." My camp's under $5 an hour to be at, and that's overnight stay, that's meals, that's supervision, that's 3 showers a day, that's sleeping in our beds, that's our utilities, plus our meals, plus the fun we provide, and plus the training. We're actually training the kids for $5 an hour. The wrestling camp is not expensive. It's the tournament, and then especially if you go to go to the real national tournaments. We're at Super 32s right now. We have 26 kids there, and our best year ever there. Our kids have beaten like 8 different nationally ranked kids, and Tanner, my son-in-law, sent me a text. So the college coaches are following us around. I'm like, that's what I want to hear, because we're trying to put Missouri wrestling and Southern Illinois wrestling on the map, right? We actually have an academy location in Arkansas too. Now I've got to stay back because I'm going to competition camp right now. We have competition camp. There's the idea. So let's think about this. You go to a tournament and you wrestle 6 minutes. The Pee-wee tournaments are kind of a joke, right? They're 1-minute periods. And so at the very most, you get 3 matches. There's 9 minutes. You pin 2 kids. You might wrestle like 4.5 minutes for $120. And you have a 16-hour day. Let the family sleep in and just skip that tournament. Train on your home wrestling mat. Or maybe, like I said, a competition camp. We're going to get 5.5 hours of live wrestling. We advertise as 40 matches worth of live wrestling. It's actually more than that. These kids there's a 45 minutes of drill time and 1 hour and 15 minutes of live wrestling. We do 5 sessions like that. And the live wrestling is 3 guys in a group or 3 girls in a group. We do boys competition overnight camps. We have kids right now in St. Louis, Missouri. I have 10 acres, 26,000 square foot that we built from scratch. We have kids right now from Alaska and Hawaii. They fly in from everywhere. Yeah, just for a weekend tournament or for a weekend competition camp. Why? Because they see the value in it. Now, most kids don't come from that far, but we'll have kids from 20 or 30 different states. I have 160 kids there right now. We had 184 2 months ago. We average 120 to 150 kids. So you talk about competition camp, instead of getting 4 minutes of wrestling or 13 minutes of wrestling, you say, I'm going to go to Nick's competition camp. It's $175 for the entire weekend. Like $87 a day. That includes meals, 3 showers a day, overnight stay, training, and a hell of a lot better partners you can get at some of these tournaments. Even the nationals, I call them so-called nationals. Now, Super 32 is where we're at right now. That's not so-called. You need to go. And you say, well, that's expensive. Well, it's like $70, $50 entry fee, which is a lot. But it's the airfare, it's the car rental, it's the driving, taking the days off of work. That's what's expensive. But you kind of have to go to that tournament if you want to wrestle in college, or you got to start hitting some big tournaments. So I'm not knocking tournaments. It's just you don't have to travel the nation like a rock and roll star and hit every tournament that says it's a national tournament. Some of these things are a joke. Kids, go to USA Nationals, go to preseason Nationals, go to Tulsa Nationals. If you live out west, go to the Rocky Mountain National event. So some of these tournaments are good, but you don't have to do them all. So I guess my point is, there's a phrase, right, in golf. People like to drive, but no one likes to putt. People like to hunt, but they don't like to scout. They want to just sit in a tree stand or a duck blind. They don't want to get out and do any scouting, right? They don't want to do the work. People want to go to the tournaments and hang out with their family, their wrestling family, and go to dinner and have fun and sit in the crowd and hang banners. Yeah, I get it. But if your kid's getting his head ripped off and he's like, my kid's wrestled 5 years, hasn't qualified for state yet, but he runs to wrestling college, does he or she really want to wrestle in college? Because if you say, do you want to wrestle in college? Oh yeah. Do you want to work for it and do the things necessary to wrestle in college? Huh? Oh hell no, I don't want to do all that. As a parent, you got to say that too. My kid wants to wrestle in college. Is there a plan in place? Oh no, we just go to all the tournaments. Well, gosh, if you're not winning, my dad used to tell us. Well, he didn't tell us. He told my brother, Josh, who got very good and very into wrestling as he got older. He won state as a sophomore and a senior. Could have wrestled in college, decided not to. Which is fine. My dad's like, hey, if I don't have to leave St. Charles County to find someone to kick your butt, I'm not leaving St. Charles County. Nick and Tony travel the nation. I have to do that, right? But we also had a home mat. We also had weights. We had to lift them. And, we trained. So you shouldn't just go to tournaments because it's fun for the family. This kid needs to win. Now, sure, does he have to be like the next David Taylor? No. But you know what? There's nothing wrong with expecting your child to train if you're going to spend $1,500 going to the Nevada Nationals, and you live in Kansas. If you do go to Super 32s, make sure, and you got to qualify for that tournament. That's 200 kids per weight class. The top 4 kids in the state in high school get an automatic entry if they want to accept it. After that, you have to go qualify. Not anybody can go. 200 kids. That's the reason every single college coach in America is there. That's the reason that's on the list. And we have a college recruiting center, flowrestling.com. Just go there. $5 million almost. We're close to $5 million of college wrestling scholarships earned. So we kind of do it all for everybody. If you want to get better at wrestling, you want college recruiting, you want online coaching, you want everything, you can get that at flowrestling.com. But that's a tournament that's on the list that you should go to. So you need to spend money on that. But as far as being on a budget, I definitely would say let's focus on the training. $5 an hour to be at camp is not expensive. $180 an hour to be at a so-called national tournament, especially if your kid's getting pinned twice, that's a waste of $2,000. That's a waste of $1,200. So you start to really look at what am I paying for a minute? Like I said, $87 a day. You can get 5.5 hours of live wrestling and 4 hours of drill time, plus overnight stay, memories that last a lifetime. Kids have fun meeting kids from around the nation. So you said, we're going to get a home wrestling mat, we're going to do some training, we're going to skip some of these easy tournaments. We had a few easy tournaments because I want my kids to have some easy days, easy for confidence. We're going to go to this one national tournament a year, maybe 2. We're not going to hop around the nation like a rock star. I'm not going to spend $10,000. And you might want to do private lessons or get like a professional coach, someone, get around an academy or something like mine. And quit spending money over here and start spending money over here, and be on a plan that says, here's the tournaments we're going to, here's the tournaments we're not going to, here's the national tournaments that we need to go to, these other ones, unless I get a big pay raise, I'm not going. There's a home wrestling mat down there, you have to use it, right? We're going to hit, maybe hit we have a 10 months a year competition camp. You say, okay, we're going to go to 3 competition camps a year with Nick. These are the dates we're going to that. These are the weekends off. Okay, what's your drill plan? Okay, tape it to the wall. How many days a week are you going to drill? My dad told us, you put 20 minutes a day in, you can be a famous wrestler. We had a famous coach, Martin Kiken. He was Alexander Medved's coach, like back in the 60s. And Martin was a Soviet Union defect, and he ended up in St. Louis. We found our way to his freestyle team. He quit coaching and said, I want to coach Nick and Tony only, and he was our private coach for a while, like 9 months or 10 months, until he moved away to New York City. But he said, do one thing every day for your wrestling. He didn't say it like that because he could hardly speak English. Family was Jewish, and he just had to get out of the Soviet Union. You know how the commies are. So he just defected with his family. But do one thing every day for your wrestling. So if you have a home wrestling mat, you say, hey, you're gonna drill, just 20 minutes a day. That'll add up. 6 days a week, 7 days a week. 20 minutes is not that much. If mom and dad are going to sit in the stands and drop $132 on a tournament and have a sore back and sit in the hard bleachers for 14 hours, you're not going to go out there with 22% body fat, unable to pick up a weight, unable to sprawl. This is not happening. This is not happening, son. Daughter, no, this is not happening. You're going to put something. Now, I'm not going to make you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday and do sprints in the rain. So I'm not a moron. I'm not one of those parents. But I'm also not one of those other parents either. We're not going to fly to Arizona if I don't need to. You can't get a takedown in your YMCA wrestling practice. Why are we flying to Arizona for? Let's get a home wrestling mat and some weights. Maybe get a Nick's online academy. That'd be a smart idea. $15 a month, right? Have a plan in place. Now you're teaching the kids a lesson too about progress and sacrifice and putting in some work. So on a budget, I get it. We're all on a budget. But I would quit blowing money on things that don't matter. And I would spend more time scouting, less time hunting, more time putting, less time at the driving range, more time training. And get a few pieces of weight equipment and a home wrestling mat and maybe a wrestling course or something that you can follow. And pick the tournaments, map this out. Is there a plan in place? And if the kids can't wrestle year-round, fine. You know what? Don't do select soccer and select baseball and select wrestling and hockey. Say, hey, you know what? We're kind of 12 years old here. We might not want to try to do 4 different sports. We might just want to narrow it down to 2. As they get older, maybe 3, but get a home wrestling mat and say, hey, you know what? One day a week we have off, we're going to put 2 hours in. We're going to lift weights and wrestle. Okay, or maybe you just hit a couple competition camps or some local awesome camps and training opportunities in your town, and then, just shift the money from over here and put it over here. You're going to find that you're going to be on track. Good luck.